for ABCs and 1, 2, 3s? It is! It's the Palos Verde Library District's on-demand story time. You can watch me anytime you want. And don't forget, Vivian and Otto are the other librarians who love to share stories with you at ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. My name is Mrs. Henry, and you can see I have my friend here with me today. This is my friend, Barney. Barney, we're ready for ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. Really? Yes. Yay! He loves story time. I do too, and I hope you do as well. Can we sing a song? Sure, Barney, I think that's a great idea. Can we sing using some sign language? Well, yes, that is a very good idea. Did you learn some sign language from Miss Marissa? Yes, but I think I want to watch you do it, Mrs. Henry. You know that's always okay, right? You can try what me and the other librarians are doing, or you can watch. You can try doing it, or you can watch, and some people like to do both. So I'll just remind you how to say the word more. You just bring your fingertips together. That's like saying the word more. More. And now we want to say together because we are all together at our ABCs and 1, 2, 3 story time. So put your hands together and even put them in a little circle. That means together. Together. Now this is the best word ever. It's happy. Happy. That is how you say, I'm happy. Happy, happy, happy. Happy. And then here's another great word, friends. We are all friends. So point up with your pointer fingers and let them hug each other. That means friend. So while we sing the song, you can use the sign language, or you can sing along, or you can just listen and watch, whatever you like. The more we get together, 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 the more we get together, the happier we'll be. 'Cause your friends are my friends, and my friends are your friends. The more we get together, the happier we'll be. And as you know, you can clap at the end. That's another way to say you're happy. And I think we're happy because we're going to talk about another sense, another part of our body that lets us learn about the world around us. At one story time not that long ago, we talked about seeing with our eyes. We talked about hearing with our ears. We talked about feeling, the sense of touch with our fingers and the other parts of our body. And we also had one about our nose and how we can smell with our nose. We smelled a lot of very pleasant smells. And today, we're going to talk about another way that we learn about the world around us, and that is the sense of taste. And you know what you use to taste things? Your tongue. That's right. That's how we taste things. Now, you always want to make sure that your grown-up is telling you it's okay to taste something. But after they say, yes, taste it, you use your tongue. Now, don't just stick your tongue out for any reason or that grown-up's going to get mad at you too. But it is fun to learn about how things taste because a lot of things are very yummy. Oh, wait, I heard Barney say something. Hold on. You know what my favorite thing to taste is? I cannot guess. Can you guess? Did you hear that, Barney? Say it again. Yes, honey. Yes, Barney and many bears do love the taste of honey. But talking about things that taste good made me think of what is called a tongue twister. And that is when you try and say a sentence very quickly. And it can be hard, so it feels like your tongue is getting all twisted. And this is a very well-known old tongue twister called Peter Piper. I'm going to say it. I'm going to try to say it because it's hard. And see if you can learn it and say it too. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. A peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, how many pickled peppers did Peter Piper pick? That is hard to say. Sometimes I don't even say it right. And it's okay to say it wrong because it gets very silly. In fact, when you really want to get silly, you can try and say it as fast as you can. Oh. Barney wants me to say it faster. Do you want me to say it faster? Okay, I'm going to try. All right. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. A peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, how many pickled peppers did Peter Piper pick? Well, that wasn't too bad, was it? But yikes, my tongue is a little tired from saying that. Fortunately, I think it is time to just tell a story. A story that we're going to make something very tasty. Once upon a time, there was a soldier. She was returning from the wars, and it was late at night. It was very dark. She had nothing to eat and nowhere to sleep. And she thought, I guess I will just camp, and maybe tomorrow will be better. But then, down the road, she saw a house, and she saw there were lights in the window. So she knocked on the door, and a crabby-looking old man opened the door, and she said, "Oh, sir, I am a weary soldier returning from the war. Could I possibly spend the night at your house? And perhaps you could spare a bite to eat?" Well, the old man looked at her and he said, "I'm sorry, I am very poor. I don't have any room in my house, and I am all out of food." "Oh," the soldier said. "I'm very sorry to hear that, sir. Then I must invite you to share a meal with me." Now, this is a carefully guarded secret. It is something I learned long ago from a very wise man. It is the recipe for stone soup. You make it from a stone. "How can that be?" the old man said. "You can't make soup from a stone." "Ah, but you can," she said. And she took off her pack, and she reached inside, and there was a stone. And she had a pot from her pack, too, and in moments, she'd made a campfire. She put down the pot, and she dropped the stone inside the pot. "Sir, do you have water?" "Well, yes, I do have water," said the old man. "Would you mind sharing the water with us? And then we will have some delicious stone soup." So the old man got some water from the well and poured it in the pot. It began to bubble. And the soldier said, "Oh, it's starting to smell good. It is too bad we don't have one thing to add to it, to add a special flavor, and that is carrots. Carrots in stone soup really hit the spot. In fact, I think when I made it for my great-grandfather, he said it was the best soup he'd ever had. You know, sir, you remind me a lot of my great-grandfather." "Oh, really? Is it the mustache? Oh, I have worn it a long time. You know, I might just have some carrot way in the back of my bin. Let me go check." So he went in the house, and he came out with a carrot. It was a fine, juicy carrot, in fact. Oh, you know what? If you can spare it and put it in our pot, it will taste delicious. Oh my, the soup will be so good. So they put it in the pot, and she stirred it. Yes, it's starting to look just right. I do wish there was a recipe I found from my colonel. Oh yes, he loved stone soup. When we were on the march, we would set up camp and make delicious stone soup. And he always said the thing that was best in stone soup was turnips. "Oh," said the old man. "Your colonel liked that?" "Oh, yes, my commanding officer. He said turnips in stone soup were fantastic." "Well, I always have supported the military," said the old man, "and it occurs to me that I might have put a turnip aside for an emergency. Stone soup, a recipe making soup from a stone, that is certainly an emergency." So he went back into his house, and he came out, and he had a fine big turnip. Are you sure that will taste good in stone soup? Oh, it's some of the best stone soup I've ever had. Had a turnip in it and the greens too. All right. And the old man dropped it in. Can I stir? He said. Oh, yes. So the old man stirred that soup. It was starting to bubble even more, and it was starting to smell very good. The soldier said, I know our soup will be good, but it is a shame that we don't have corn. Corn and stone soup just gives it a little freshness. That's what the prince always said. When I spoke to the prince, he always said he liked corn and stone soup. Wait a minute, said the old man. You spoke to the prince? I made the prince stone soup. He loved it. I have always supported the prince. He's a handsome young man. Oh my, said the old man. I remember where I put some corn. And he went inside and he came out with a fine ear of corn. Are you sure that will taste good in stone soup? Oh my, yes, as I said, the prince really likes it that way. All right, so he dropped the corn in the soup and he stirred it even more. He was getting very excited. Is it ready? Is it ready yet? Well, I think it needs to bubble just a little bit longer. Yeah, I remember if you don't bubble it long enough, it just doesn't get that special stone soup flavor. So, while we're waiting, I'll tell you about the time I made it for the king. Yes, I did make it for the king too. And he loved it, but I'm not sure this is going to be as good as the one for the king. What? It's stone soup. We have carrots and turnips and corn and stones in it. It should be delicious. Yes, but the king always liked it with peas. Oh, I like peas. Yeah, but the king said that peas are his favorite vegetable. Peas are my favorite vegetable. Oh, it's just too bad you don't have any peas. You love them so much. The king loves them, and it is going to be a very good soup even without it. I'm pretty sure I have peas, said the old man. And he rushed in, and he rushed back out with some peas. Yum. They looked fresh and delicious. And he dropped them in there, and he stirred it as fast as he could because he couldn't wait for the stone soup. It was really smelling good. And the soldier said, I think it's almost ready. Oh, you know what the queen likes in the soup? Oh, what does the queen like? What does the queen like? She likes cheese and sausage and a pickle on the side. Oh, it's too bad we don't have that too. But this is a fabulous soup, fit for a colonel and a prince and a king and you and me, of course. It will be fantastic. The old man stopped pretending. He rushed in his house and he brought out a sausage and some cheese, and he even had a jar of my favorite pickles. And he threw them all in there, and he stirred it, and he said, you know what goes good with soup? Bread. So he brought out some bread. He brought out some bowls. He went down the road and called to his neighbors, and they all came, and they brought things to share too. And while the soup bubbled and they stirred it, they chatted with the soldier, and they learned of her adventures, and they shared adventures too. And then when the soup was done, they ladled it out, and they ate it, and it was delicious. And then all the people offered the soldier a fine place to sleep, but she stayed in the spare room of the old man. She had a fine sleep, and she had had a delicious meal. And you know what? All those people became her friends. And when she left, she and the old man were firm friends, and he thanked her, and he said, now I have the recipe for stone soup. I can never thank you enough. And that story is a very old folk tale called Stone Soup. Did that make you laugh a little bit? That old man really should have shared without kind of being tricked like that. But sometimes people need a little boost. That's no surprise. And the story that is about sharing food, that is really important too. And you know what they all did when they blew on that soup and tasted it? They had to use their tongue. Now, the story doesn't mention putting salt in it, but salt is a very good ingredient to put in many things. That makes me think of something you can try at home with a grown-up, is taste some salt. Put it in different spots on your tongue, and you might find the taste stronger or weaker, because the different parts of our tongue actually focus on different things, like something sweet, like sugar, something salty, or even something sour, like a lemon. Different parts of your tongue will find that either stronger or weaker. So if you want to try that, you can even take like a Q-tip swab and dip it in the salt and then move it around your tongue and see where it tastes strong and see where it tastes weak. Now, we're talking about our tongue again. That makes me think of another song. It's a song about a lollipop tree. It's one of my favorite songs. One fine day in early spring, I played a funny trick. Right in the yard behind my house, I planted a lollipop stick. And every day I watered it well and watched it carefully. I hoped one day that it would grow to be a lollipop tree. Ah ha ha, oh ho ho, what a place to be. Under a lollipop, 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 lolly, lolly, lollipop tree. Then one day I woke to find a very lovely sight. A tree all full of lollipops had grown in the dead of night. Wow, I sat beneath my wonderful tree and looked up with a grin. And when I opened up my mouth, oh, a lollipop dropped right in. Ah ha ha, oh ho ho, what a place to be. Under my lollipop, 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 lolly, lolly, lollipop tree. But then something happened. Winter came and days grew cold, as winter days will do. Oh no! On my tree, my lovely tree, not one little lollipop grew. Oh, there were even icicles. From every branch an icicle hung. Those limbs were bare as bones. But you know what? When I broke the icicles off, they turned into ice cream cones. Ah ha ha, oh ho ho, what a place to be. Under my lollipop, 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 lolly, lolly, lollipop tree. Under my lollipop, 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 lolly, lolly, lollipop tree. Yum. Now, how many of you like a tree full of lollipops? Raise your hand. Most of you seem to like that. Okay, how many of you like lollipops? Raise your hand if you like. I'm sorry, we're talking about ice cream cones now. Ice cream cones. You like those? Put your hand up if you do. All right, now, if you like lollipops and ice cream cones, put up both your hands. Everybody, just about everybody, seems to like both. I like both too. Well, we had some fun talking about very tasty things like soup and lollipops, and we even tried a tongue twister, but it is time for us to finish today. I see Barney's back here. He wants to join in too. Yes, I do. I want to sing the goodbye song, but I want to sing it like this, with wiggling your tongue. Okay, but remember, you can't just stick out your tongue anytime. It's only if it's okay to be silly. We wiggle our tongue like this. We wiggle our tongue like this. We say goodbye at story time, and we wiggle our tongue like this. And now let's just wave. We wave goodbye like this. We wave goodbye like this. To say goodbye at story time, we wave goodbye like this. And you can even clap one more time like Barney does. Thank you for coming to ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. We'll see you next time.